How much different is it?
How much different it is, right? So, one thing we ain't got to worry about them, taking is a quarterback, all right? That's one thing we ain't got to worry about. Thank God for Josh Allen right now. If y'all see my man, he's at the workouts right now. He getting swole right now. He getting Jive Diesel working out, getting ready for that golf tournament. Let's just hope that he ain't hitting the golf balls, to the next stratosphere, how Diesel he looking in the gym right now. Hey, look, the Bills got one of the best weight training facilities there is in the NFL. If you don't know, man, call and see if you can take a tour, go online and check the pictures out. Bills definitely have one of the top facilities there is when it comes to weight training, and the best strength conditioning coaches, my guy Eric Ciano and my guy Hal Luther, by the way. Shout out to
Wait a minute, that joint wasn't photoshopped?
No, one like he was like Bruto with the
right. He looked like
he had a tattoo on it, right? You know what I mean?
He looked like he was ready to take Popeye's spinach.
You got to go on Buffalo Bills. You got to go on BuffaloBills.com, and that's him flexing.
Which one did you show me?
He flexing.
You showed me the photo.
Yeah, that was the photo.
Okay, I was
like that man. He's like he was in jail or something right now. Then we know Josh Allen is not in jail.
The next Super Bowl.
Right?
What, he in the World Olympics for bodybuilding all of a sudden?
Yeah, he looked like he was up in Cattaraugus County or something, man. One picture show how his arms was looking, but man was flexing a little bit. He let you know that clip is fully loaded right now. All right, so that's where we at. Like we got a guy Kyrie on deck. Now you heard Brandon Beane, basically talk about getting the phone calls and things are actually going to pick up, but we know that the Bills are going to make some sort of trade. It has not been one time in the Brandon Beane era where a trade has not happened. I don't care what round it is. If it's the first round, the second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever it is, the Bills have made some sort of trade in the Brandon Beane era. Kyrie, what's going on, my guy? How are you?
Not much, man. How we doing tonight?
Oh, man, what was the night before the draft, man? And we was wondering if you could help us out a little bit. You know what I mean? You see what you read in between the lines of what Brandon Beane's talking about. And we already know that, at some point in time, they're going to make a trade, right? It's never not been a draft that Brandon Beane had that a trade has not been made. You know what I mean? So, and you've been there with the Bills yourself. You work with them as a correspondent, as a writer. You know what I mean? So exactly what's up with these guys. So, care to break that down for us? And what do you think the Bills are going to do with pick 25?
Hold on a second.
The pick is in. What? There's the card. The card has been ended.
Can you guys turn it up a little bit? I can't hear you guys.
Oh, turn it up, Ready Rob. What's going on? There's some juice in my headphone.
Okay.
Check 1 2. You got us now? You got us?
Yeah, a little bit better now. Yeah. So we talked a little bit about trading up. And, I think you mentioned that. I think, just knowing that they're in a spot where, number 25 spot, just thinking about what Brett did for against Chiefs and how really opens to 18 out of the leaderboard, I think are, 2 first-round talents. So, I think trade up is in play for sure. It's so funny. Like, remember Coach McDermott's press conference last week, he was I don't know. This might be me, but he just seemed a little too giddy about talking about trading. So, I think it's something that's really in play. And there's a few names that could, that they could be targeting with that. But, I think a trade up is definitely in the possibility.
When you say, a few names they could be targeted, what names did you have in mind?
Now, in terms of trading up, I think if the Bills see that there's a run on defensive backs, I think that might be what, urge them to want to make a move. I think either of the guys from Washington would be a good fit, McDuffie or Tyler Gordon, one of the two. I think Andrew Booth would be, a guy that they could potentially go with. I think that the thing with the, obviously we've talked about Tre'Davious White's ACL situation and, is he even going to be ready to go for week 1? I think that's something that the Bills have to consider, especially with Levi Wallace being out in Pittsburgh now. So, I think it's something that, I think it might be something that their hand is forced with, They might want to stay at 25, or maybe they are looking to move up. But if they do see a run on defensive that could really urge them to make that move up.
I mean, even do you really think that'll force their hand? I mean, just look at it, because Levi Wallace was an undrafted free agent, and he's been a starter for the Bills the past 3 seasons. I mean, do you really think that they need a first round guy to come in, to fill that void? I mean, Dane Jackson is a 7th round pick, and I think he played pretty well, last year and, the year before as a rookie when he, given a chance. So you think that they would really trade up to go get a corner and say, if it's a run on corners and you're breaking down to more or less guys like Kyer Elam or Kyler Gordon that's left, do you think the Bills are going to trade up to snap one of those guys?
Now, I'm not saying that they will. I think it's something that they could do, though. Mm-hmm. Now, if I was in Berkeley's shoes, I personally wouldn't either. I would stay put at 25 because I just think the depth of the DB group as a whole is tremendous. Mm-hmm. Like you said, Kyer Elam, Roger McCrary, some guys like that, I think will be available at number 25. And, I think one thing that people are missing out too, obviously, when you're down, your all-pro corner and, your other starting corner played phenomenally down the stretch last season for the most part. And Levi Wallace was, both those guys potentially being out of action for week 1. I think the masses have kind of clamored for, hey, why not at a corner? But I think people forget that the Bills have really zoned system, and that's a system that is really dependent on cornerback. I mean, we've seen it throughout the years. I mean, obviously when Seattle was doing, they had a guy like Richard Sherman, but even Sherm wasn't the greatest man-to-man corner. He was, great zone player. So, I think, again, it's not what I would do personally, but I do think that if there are, a mix of DBs that are going, maybe it could play into how they attack with moving up. But I think they're also in a position too where they really could take the best player available at 25.
Right. And, since we already chimed in about the defensive side, let's talk a little bit more about the offensive side at pick 25. Now, just how you just said it, if it's a run on cornerbacks, I mean, I'm not going to reach for a guy like Roger McCrary or even a guy like Kyler Gordon at pick 25. So I guess, best available player on the offensive side, what are your options?
Now, I really think it's we can go one or two, or the Bills can go one or two ways. I think there's a lot of Breece Hall. Breece Hall has been, the name that's been linked to the Bills. It really seems like throughout the entire draft process. And I saw, shout out to the guys that cut one. I saw the video clip they posted for Breece. He quote tweeted it. So the love is definitely there, very mutual, and he'd be a great fit. He would bring a lot of juice to the offense. The dual threat back. He's really a traditional 3-down back that would help the team in the aspect of you add him, that makes Stephen Singletary your number 2 back. Possibly Duke Johnson your 3rd back, and whatever happens then with Zach Moss, so be it. But I also personally, and I wrote a little bit about the fan side of this week. I personally would try to target the offensive line. I would go with Dane Jackson. First of all, to be able to get a guy who might be the best player at his position at 25 overall, I mean, that's a steal. But I think it's a lot of, it's for a lot of different things. First and foremost, I think, just considering the fact that, there are a ton of offensive tackles in this draft. So, those guys are going to get picked or should get picked before, just because the positional value, the offensive tackles are, such commodities in the game today. But, it's also important to have strong offensive line, but when you have a quarterback like Josh Allen, who, does run a lot. You know, he tied for the fourth most hits taken in the league last year too. So, you know, if you're able to add a plug and play, you know, guy who can come in, start right away, be effective right away, be potentially a Pro Bowl level player right away. You know, someone who could potentially be a starter in front of Josh Allen for 10 plus years. I mean, I don't think that's something that you can ignore. But also, too, you add a guy like Zion Johnson that gives you the flexibility to add a Nick Cook in the second round, a Kyron Williams, and Isaiah Spiller. You know, there's a ton of running backs that, you know, will go in the second round or the mid rounds that, you know, the Bills could, you know, add and could eventually take over as a starter long term.
I get that. I definitely get that. I respect that because it is a deep draft when it comes down to the running backs. It is a deep draft when it comes to linemen as well. So, I mean, this is like, what do you do? I feel like a kid in the candy store right now because it's just, you know, I don't know what to do right now. I mean, okay, if I miss out on this guy, I have another guy that could potentially fill that mold because right now the Bills are really looking for quality depth pieces. It's very, I mean, all the starters are back. So who are we looking for right now at this point that's going to be an immediate impact? What position, you know what I mean, that is going to make an immediate impact that the Bills would need as far as pick number one? Okay, obviously it is a cornerback. Everybody would say that because looking at the roster, looking at the depth chart, looking at the injury, you know what I mean? But let's just take cornerback away. What other position? They're all pretty much full with a starter, you know, at this point. So, Torch, what you got?
Shout out to Big Fella. What's good, D-Mos? What's good with you, bro?
What's going on, Dre?
How you doing? First and foremost, I'm kind of under the same notion as Mookie August, the coach around here. If I'm a trade up, I gotta go get a piece that's gonna be an immediate impact player. Now, what corners could you get in round two? I mean, you could get a Tyreek Wooten in round two. You could get a Zaire McCullough in round two. You could get you a Kobe Bryant and a Kobe Bryant. Yes, not the Kobe Bryant from the Lakers, but the Kobe Bryant from Cincinnati. You could get him or Kyler Gordon in round two. So, I mean, if I'm moving up, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not moving up even for a running back because to be honest with you, for what you've seen the last couple of years, the Buffalo Bills have been letting that thing fly, and Josh Allen has been doing that at a phenomenal clip. So I'm gonna go get a guy like maybe, you know, Jamison Williams. If I could go get Jamison Williams and move up to get him, a guy who can run a 4.2 that could take the top off of a defense, I might go get him to add on to what I have at that offensive, you know, with the offense. I might do that. You know, the Buffalo Bills have gotten a lot of offensive linemen already in last year's offseason and in this offseason, you know, taking a couple of Tennessee Titans guys on the offensive line, those beefy guys that you need for run blocking, which obviously they blocked for the King Henry and did that at such a successful clip that you might want to, you know, not waste the first round pick on that. You might want to go get an impact player. But if I'm looking at the Buffalo Bills, I'm moving up to go get maybe a Jamison Williams, a guy with speed. You're going to need speed. And then you got round two talent at the cornerback position. Round two talent, maybe even a Michael Wright from Oregon, maybe, or a guy from Alabama that they got in the draft. You know, some of those Alabama guys are pretty good at that cornerback position. You know, we've seen that in past. So maybe grab one of those guys in round two. Get you a round one guy, get you a corner in round two, maybe even a veteran. You know, there's been talk with Von Miller talking about, you know, grabbing Joe Hayden. Hopefully, maybe that's still in the works. Maybe that's still in talks. Maybe they do that. Maybe they go do that, you know. So I'm excited to see what happens with you know, the first round pick. But that's my thoughts on that. Go get an impact player who's going to immediately impact the team.
Yeah, and
That's a fair point.
And you look at it though with these linemen and these contracts that they got. You got to be careful right now with that number one pick because when it's time to pay that guy, you know, what is his market value is going to be looking at? And obviously the low man on the totem pole has always been the running back. So if I draft a running back at 1, okay, that means he's going to be under contract for 5 years. I exercise that option, and we know exercising the option for a running back isn't that high. okay, is probably the one of the league's lowest, you know what I mean, as far as exercising the option. And then you can franchise tag the guy for a couple of years. By that time, you didn't got the life expectancy of a running back, you know what I mean? Because life expectancy of a running back is only 4 years in the league, tops. So by that time, we got at least a good 7 years out of this guy, and we might want to extend him. If not, we're not. But that's why I say if this is the time to get a running back at 1, now is the time to go ahead and get one. Because now when you look at it, if you draft a receiver at 1, when his contract is up, you know how much money he's going to be wanting, right? He's going to be wanting anywhere between $30 to $40 million when his contract is up. So you got to think about that, you know what I mean? And taking, a pick right now at number 1, what do you take? You know what I mean? Because down the line, what this guy is going to do to your salary cap number in the second contract. You know what I mean? So you gotta look at all of that stuff too as well when you draft in the first round. That's why it was so simple for the Bills to trade out of it and to give it away to take Stephon Diggs. And then, obviously you got Greg Rousseau, last year at 30. So
Right. Well, Mookie, I think one of the things you also, as you're talking about, what you're going to pay a certain player, you got to look at, okay, so we got Stephon Diggs. In those couple years that we paying Stephon Diggs right now, if we go get a wide receiver right now in the draft, you want that wide receiver to at least be somewhere in that range where Stephon Diggs, when it's time for him to go, whenever that is, or if he retire a Buffalo Bill or however that go, you want that guy to be next in line so it doesn't, affect you as much because $30 plus million guy or a $26 million guy, and then you got a couple of years to progress that wide receiver. And I think Jameson Williams might be one of those guys who gonna get paid heavily after year 4, year 5, of that contract. You can slide him right in there, then Diggs or whoever else you got, maybe.
Gabe Davis.
Gabe Davis, right.
You got Gabe going into his 3rd year.
Right, you got Gabe.
He's not a first-round pick, so you got 2 years right now to figure out what we're going to do with that. If he has a breakout year this year, I just scored 4 touchdowns in the divisional playoff game, and he's racking off 2 touchdowns a game due to the fact that teams are still doubling Stephon Diggs. You got Dawson Knox, who's had a breakout season last year. What do you do with that? So you got to look at all of that stuff somewhere down the line on how that's going to affect your salary cap. In the future.
So here's my big question to you, though. I mean, you the coach, you got the GM experience. I got to ask you, how do you feel about Devin Singletary, man? I mean, he's got, a year or 2 left, a couple of years left?
The thing about that is you can draft, let's say you can draft Breece Hall, but you still can extend, you can extend Singletary right now. Give him a 3-4 year deal for $16 million. That is number $3-4 million a year.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So he can, Bills can afford that. You know what I'm saying? And then you'll groom your running back and Breece Hall to the point where, okay, those two will be able to complement each other for the duration.
So you jumping at the running back position. I see you by the numbers right now. It sounds like inside the numbers, right? Strategically inside the numbers, my man Mookie Hawkins is saying the number 1 pick should be a running back right now. I hope y'all catching this, y'all. I hope y'all catching
so many words.
In so many words. I think the 2 tight end set that they're gonna be probably using. They gotta be using the 2 tight end set now. OJ Howard and Dawson Knox. That's going to help the running game a lot, especially with those beefy maulers. We call them maulers on the offensive line. So I see Devin Singletary having a really good year this year. He doesn't have to be a 3-down back to have a really good year this year. And I know people don't like Devin Singletary. Some folks don't like him. Some folks say, well, he's not a 3-down back, and that's why the Bills are even thinking about getting a running back. But I think that Devin Singletary is elusive enough. He's shifty enough. He gets enough runs. He gets enough runs. And with those runs, he's very productive, a 5 yards a clip type of guy. You know what I mean? I think that the Buffalo Bills will be fine. I think you got to get somebody to knock the top off the roof, though. If Jameson Williams is there, go get him. So, I mean, maybe we need to ask Buffalo and the whole entire world that's listening to the station of power right now, who would you rather get? Maybe Jameson Williams or Bryce Hall? Maybe that's the question.
Or hold that question, because right now we got Nina over here. Kyrie, I appreciate you giving us this great insight too, by the way. But right now it's time to take a chill pill. We will be right back. You're tuned into the Wufo 10:80 a.m. on Power 96.5. 'Twas the night before the draft. We'll be right back.
Need an apple bomb, but need an apple bomb. Need an apple bomb, and you gotta put me on.
All I'm saying
What
is,
are you
man,
trying to say?
we are creative
All right, so
people,
we're gonna
and
chime
we know
back
how to
in.
take brands and introduce them
Nina!
to the urban market, and our urban market.
Yeah,
is
wicked,
about
wicked,
money
wicked,
on
wicked,
the
wicked.
brand. So my man here, James Wright, says, wait a second, man. The Tiger
Oh, you
Pies
good,
wasn't
you
selling.
good,
And when I did that
good.
video,
I was trying to throw it to you about that.
I know you
Let's hear it.
was. I was like, no, that's the best.
This is Richard Peterson. You may
Oh,
know me
good.
as
I'm
one of
gonna
the
try to
chefs
be
at the
this year.
Chef's
I'm gonna try to
Table.
pay attention.
I've been injured in 2
You good.
accidents.
Shout out to everybody that's tuning in right now. By the way, some of y'all is haters. I ain't gonna lie. I'll
will
put
tell
this
you
out
that
there on
John
the break right
Elmore
now.
Auto Insurance
Some of
Company,
y'all,
in both
I
cases,
don't understand.
no holds barred.
People be hating
Insurance companies
so
did not
badly
want to
for no
pay
reason.
because of some
You got your
pre-existing injuries
picks?
that I
I'm
had.
ready.
When my daughter had an accident,
You know I'm ready.
I hired
What you
John
got for
Elmore.
me?
Needless
What?
to say,
What you
he
got
helped
for
my
me?
Oh,
daughter.
I got
John
NBA
Elmore
stuff.
made
Now you
every
talking about
effort
NFC?
to
Y'all don't need the rest of
maximum
NBA.
coverage.
AFC North, right?
Cut. You just
Yeah, I
Injured
know
in
my
an
AFC North?
John Elmore
AFC
is
North.
Yeah, I got
on your team.
got Jericho
John
on the
Elmore
line.
has an undefeated record with my family.
This is Attorney John Elmore. Nothing angers
Yeah,
more
man.
than lawyers who are incompetent or
So,
lawyers
yeah,
who
so-
simply do not care. If you're injured in an accident, please call me.
Dolphins don't have a
$3
number
million
one pick, right?
phone number 300-0000.
New England, Jets.
That's 300-0000.
Obviously,
Past results do
I
not
appreciate the
guarantee future
people who
outcomes.
support.
Progressive presents Forced Metaphors
You got the
about
North.
bundling your home auto and other vehicles.
In hockey, it's the goalie's job to
Jared
protect the net.
Sunshine.
And in life, your net is your home and auto, but also your boat, motorcycle, RV, or ATV.
Thank you,
And your
Brian.
goalie is the round-the-clock protection offered by Progressive Insurance. Well, it's also the savings you get when you bundle. So in this metaphor, you have 2 goalies, which is okay because, it's just a metaphor.
Forced Metaphors presented by Progressive. Bundle and protect today.
Know what's
Progressive
going
Casualty
on
Insurance Company and affiliates.
right?
Discount not available in all
Let
states.
us know what's up. What do you think the Bills are going to take? Running back, cornerback, wide receiver, offensive lineman. Will they surprise you with a safety? I don't know. Give me a call. 716-837-1112.
And excellent benefits. We have openings at every level with sign-on bonuses for all positions. Come join the Best Self team. To find out more information, visit bestselfwany.org.
Yo, this is Greg Russo. Shout out to the station. Keep on tuning in day in and day out. Let's get it. Keep tuning in to Wufo for late night sports on Mondays and Wednesdays.
Welcome back, Sports World, to Late Night Sports. Once again, I'm your host on the ones and twos, everybody's favorite nephew, DJ Ray Robbins, in the building. In the booth with me today, I got Andre the Torch Robinson. I got Villa Maria's finest.
The lovely. I like to say
The lovely Nina is in the building. We got some NBA talk. She a hoop star. If y'all didn't know, she was giving girls buckets. Straight buckets out there in Villa. So we gonna get into that just a bit. But once again, twas the night before the NFL draft. Another creature was stirring. Not even a mouse, but if you live in the neighborhood where I'm from, ain't no mouses, baby. Ain't no mouses. It's them big suckers that be running around, trying to, enter the draft and all that good stuff. But nevertheless, man, we just had my boy Kyrie Demos on deck, man, giving us some great insight on what the Bills is going to do at pick 25. I'm not sure what the Bills is going to do at pick 25. I sit up here and I twisted my hair because of that. No, shout out to my girl Nia Thrust, by the way, for hooking the boy up. But I had to twist them things because I was really confused. I'm really twisted about what the Bills are going to do at pick 25. But before all of that, let me break this down. She's more precious than rubies. Nothing you can desire can compare with her. We're calling all mothers. Now, Wufo will be hosting our annual pre-Mother's Day luncheon for a marvelous celebration of mothers. Come and enjoy food, a fashion show by Double MB Style Studios, Mia Badger, giveaways, including tickets to Ain't Too Proud, a musical telling the story of the hit group The Temptations, and live music from two-time national recording artists Ashley Scott and Mariah White. Now, come join the fun with your favorite radio station here at Power 96.5, Wufo Radio, and on May 7th, 2022 at 12 p.m. is going down at the Millennium Hotel. Now, tickets are $30 and they are available on Eventbrite, or you can just come on down to 143 Broadway and come holler at us, man. And, COD, because, we don't know you all like that. All right. You know what I mean? Please COD me. Tickets are on sale right now for that pre-Mother's Day luncheon at the Millennium Hotel. Now, we're going to have some great vendors. You make sure you go online. That's www.power965radio.com, so you can see all the lovely vendors that's going to be participating in the Mother's Day luncheon. Now, last year was over 600 people, and we talking COVID now. So tickets is crazy still right now. Tickets is crazy. We like over 400 right now. So it's going to be off the charts. All you mothers, man, all you sons out there that's trying to trying to find an event for mom to, to honor your mom, hit us up. All right. We got you covered. We definitely got you covered. So on Monday, we was talking about the NFC and what they're going to do in reference to the draft in the first round. Okay. So now it's the AFC's turn. All right. And, we got my boy Dre on deck, and I think we do got my guy Jared. Jared, is you with us? Jared, hello? Jared, are you with us? Well, I'm quite sure he'll join us in just a bit, but Torch, you
What's
have
up?
the AFC North.
Yes, I do.
All right, and that consists of Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cincinnati. All right, Cincinnati. So, it's AFC defending champion Cincinnati Bengals. So what do you think that these teams need in the AFC North? What do you think that the Cincinnati Bengals would select in the first round?
Well, wait a minute, Coach. Could you believe that the Baltimore Ravens will be picking first out of the AFC North this year?
Wow.
At number 14. Surprisingly, they'll be picking at number 14 in first. How did that happen? Is that the same team with Lamar Jackson in them on it? They were last in their division last year? Wow, have the times changed. But with that being said, the Baltimore Ravens need defensive lineman and cornerback. Interesting enough. Which one has more value and which one will you have to pay more for? As you know, that that fourth and fifth year hits. Baltimore does a pretty good job as an organization getting what they need and want out of that organization. Ozzie was pretty good at what he do. But nevertheless, I will have to say that they definitely signed Marcus Williams to a 5-year, $70 million deal, which is makes him one of five most valuable players at the position since 2017. So with that being said, I do not think that the Baltimore Ravens will be going corner at number 14 because there's a bunch of teams that's probably before them, which is the Jaguars, Lions, Texans, Jets, Giants, Panthers. The Giants got another one who will probably need a corner. With that being said, if I had to pick somebody out of the first round to pick, I'm going to go defensive line. Who's the best defensive lineman in this draft right now?
I'm about to forfeit you right now.
You're going to have to
be expired, man.
You got to have to forfeit something because this is going to be a little interesting. How many defensive linemen do you pick at 14? Well, let's see here. I'm going to say, let's see here.
Nothing comes to mind right now at 14?
No, nothing. Nothing.
Do I have to make this pick for you?
You might have to make this one for me. I did have it up here, but I am looking at my notes. Sorry about that, folks. Number 14. Let's see here. That would be. Oh, okay. I'm taking Kayvon Thibodeau from Oregon.
So Thibodeau slides all the way to 14.
Yeah, I'm taking Thibodeau.
We're going to take Thibodeau. Okay, now you got to run these guys down because we only got 15 minutes. We still got to.
So I'm going to take Thibodeau. Hold on. First and foremost, I'm going to take Thibodeau or I'm going to take George Lucas from Purdue. And the reason why that is because Thibodeau had a 91.5 PFF rating for pass rushing in 2021, something that Ravens are going to need. Also, George from Purdue also had a 90.6 pass rushing grade. So if Thibodeau goes first, I'm taking George Kyle Crafts from Purdue.
All right, so look, we got 15 minutes. We got to run these things down. We ain't got time to thoroughly explain this. We taking the guy. Okay, Philly, they taking this guy. They taking that guy, and then we're moving on.
Oh, see, okay, so now
it's quick. This is rapid fire right here.
Rapid fire movement here. I'm sorry, I take my time sometimes. Now, the only thing that I think the Bengals need really is a guard. In a nutshell, they need a guard after getting Levin Collins. So with that pick, I'm going to go with real simple and plain. I'm going to take a guard straight out of Boston College, maybe a Zion Johnson to be there for them, hopefully, at pick 24. And if not Zion Johnson, then I'm going to take Kayvon Green from Texas A&M. Okay. Now, you wanted to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, what the Steelers needed. The Pittsburgh Steelers, in a nutshell, they need – Pittsburgh Steelers need a quarterback and a offensive tackle. In this case, could Malik come off the board here? Could Malik come off the board in the first round? I'm going to say yes, they would have to. When you got Mitchell Trubisky, Mason Rudolph, and Dwayne, well, we know what happened with Dwayne Haskins. Sorry again about that, but we know about that. So they're going to need a quarterback or they're going to need an offensive tackle. And if I have to look at that, then I got to take Sam Howell from North Carolina because they're picking so late in the round. I got to take him, or I got to take maybe a Desmond Ridder comes off the board here. Malik or Desmond Ridder comes off the board for Pittsburgh here. So, the last team. Yeah, that's right. That would be Cleveland, the Cleveland Browns, who obviously got rid of Baker Mayfield. We know that. So, with that being said, but they do have just Deshaun Watson coming up. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to need, and I had this all set right here. All right, Cleveland Browns, we get down, need a wide receiver. They need interior defensive lineman or edge rusher. I think right here is where the Cleveland Browns, being the pick, what pick is Cleveland? Let's see here. Cleveland's pick is number...
I don't think they pick in the first round.
No, they don't. They don't pick in the first round.
So, we don't have nothing to do with Cleveland. They don't pick in the first round. They gave their money to Houston. All right. So, Jarek. We got Jarek still on. Jarek.
Yes, sir. How's it going?
How you doing, man?
All right, man. How you doing yourself?
I've been good, man. It's towards the night before the draft, and we just trying to break this thing down real quick. Wild West in the AFC, man. What do you got for me?
Well, let me tell you something, man. With 17, I got the Chargers taking Trevor Penning. Listen, man, a nasty offensive tackle. You saw what he did in the Senior Bowl. And especially in the senior practices, he is absolutely nasty. And that could actually be a little bit of I wouldn't say a red flag, but it's something that you kind of like, but at the same time, you're like, hey, man, we need to tone we want you to be aggressive, but tone that aggression a little bit. I think as a pass protector, still a little bit raw in that particular area. You don't like the inconsistency that he has with his hands, but I think a lot of the tools, a lot of the mental mistakes that he kind of makes, I think can be corrected next level. Besides that, he has the athleticism, he has the size, he has the strength to play the position. It's just about getting the mental aspect of the game down for him. But I think, if you can get him corrected, one of the biggest problems for LA was the fact that they just couldn't protect LA. Now, they got some improvement with that last season. They need to continue to stock on that, protect your franchise quarterback, because they are right there as far as being championship contenders. So I got them taking Trevor Penning there. 29th, Of course, we got, Kansas City taking Jahan Dotson off of Penn State. I think Jahan Dotson might slide a little bit there, not to a particular fault, but I think that there are going to be other premium positions that I think will be taken before he does. And I think with Jahan Dotson, this will be a steal for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's going to be underestimated because of his size at around like 5'10.5", close to that 5'11" mark. However, very similar to Tyreek Hill, maybe doesn't have the speed of Tyreek Hill. No, matter of fact, no one in this class has the speed of a Tyreek Hill. But when you talk about the quickness, you talk about the ability to run the intermediate routes, how he's extremely good when it comes to the crossing routes, the overall routes, and I think the most important aspect about his game is the fact that he can literally moss the absolute heck out of anybody. You love how small he is, but he plays extremely big. He plays like he's 6'4". I would recommend people to, watch the Ohio State game, watch some of his games, some of his highlights. The kid is an absolute highlight reel, and especially he's extremely good after the catch. So I think Kansas City, what Andy Reid loves to do with these type of receivers, these speedy type of receivers that are dominant after the catch, they're absolutely going to love a player like Jahan Dotson. And then I got another player, right from the same school, Penn State. I'm going to butcher this last name, but Arnold McKetty from Penn State, the pass rusher, 6'3", 250 pounds, long, athletic type of player. You love his ability to rush the passer. I think he's one of the best pure pass rushers in this draft class. You're not going to really like him in the run game, in the run department a lot. And again, they didn't use him a lot in the run department. They simply used him a lot as a pure pass rusher. So there's a lot of aspects to his game that he needs to prove upon in the run game. But again, Frank Clark's getting older. They simply just can't rely on Chris Jones. They tried to push him on the outside because they had a lot of issues there. And obviously it didn't work out to him, so they had to push him back in the interior. So clearly that's an area of need that they need to address. So I have them taking a pure pass rusher and Arnold McKetty, and hopefully Kansas City's pass rush can improve there. And I know that, for the most part, Denver won't be choosing until the back end of the second round. But, I have them taking Channing Tindall. They do need a little bit of help at the linebacker position. They did lose some key players there for free agency. So I think at the second round, you can experiment getting an athletic linebacker, a guy that's 6'2", 230 pounds, that literally plays like a safety. Might not have the coverage skills of a safety, but you love his range, you love his athletic ability, you love the fact that he's not afraid to challenge inside, challenge inside, interior offensive linemen as far as blocking goes. I think most importantly, though, you just love his range as a defender. He can be used in pass coverage, even though it's not particularly a strength. You love his size and his speed enough that you can test him out in those waters. So I think overall wise, in the second round, you can go ahead and take the gamble, get a player like Channing Tindall, try to develop him to the next level. Because again, the payoff, if he does work out, it could be phenomenal for the Denver Broncos.
All right. Well said there, man. See, we got to get the Black Male Kuiper on deck, man. We had to get them out here. The rapid fire one time. But Jared, hey, once again, man, enjoy the draft, young man. And I know you can't wait till it happened at 8:00. So I'll touch base. I'll be shooting you a call. You know what I mean? We can try to figure out who's going where tomorrow. And appreciate your time, big dog.
You sound a little low. On my end.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
You got me now?
A little bit.
I don't know. I guess we experienced some sort of technical difficulties in reference to that. But nevertheless, hey, I appreciate you calling in and giving us some great insight, man. And, I'll talk to you when the draft comes on.
Absolutely, man. You guys have a good one.
All right. Now I know I'm gonna get a flag on the play because we didn't brought the lovely Nina in the place, and we ain't even really chopped it up with her, but we got some NBA.
It's the night before the draft. Trust me, I understand. I understand it. I understand. So I'm chilling.
This is like football. It's like one-on-one. It's like you in the living room with all of us, and you just don't know what the hell was just said, like what's going on.
I'm chilling.
We're here to educate you, though. We're going to get you educated. By the time football season starts,
I'm going to be the biggest Bills fan. I'm going to be on the tailgating, all the events. I swear, I'm going to have a Bills jersey. All that. I'm with it all.
Absolutely. No doubt. We do have the NBA playoffs going on, and the broom came out over this week where the Brooklyn Nets got, swept on up out of here.
Swept up out of here. Like, that is crazy. And I'm going to say that it's arguably because of one player. I think that y'all could say, maybe the MVP of the playoffs thus far, I believe, arguably Jason Tatum. Mm-hmm. I definitely think so. He's really gone off. Like, he's gone crazy, averaging almost 30 points. And I feel like he really did his thing against Durant. I don't know what's going on with Brooklyn. I feel like maybe it had some factors like, Kyrie refusing to get vaccinated and then Harden bailing last minute. Maybe those had something to do with it. But I feel like we just got to give Brooklyn their props. For real.
I mean, you got to give Boston their props, right?
Boston, yeah.
You definitely got to give it up because, Trish, everybody kept saying, oh, man, Brooklyn with this trio, because James Harden was on the team to begin the season. Mm-hmm. So everybody was saying, oh, they're going to go to the NBA Finals. They're the favorite to go. To me, they ain't no better than the Los Angeles Lakers. They just played 4 more games than they did. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
So first and foremost, I have a question for you, Nina.
I might have an answer.
Are you surprised that the Brooklyn Nets was the only team to get swept in the first round?
Am I surprised?
Yes, are you surprised?
I'm going to be honest. I kind of am a little bit surprised. Okay. Just because the playoffs, like, it's craziness. I feel like, I don't know. You have 4 games, to at least win one or try, getting swept. I feel like. And I feel like Durant made this expectation of they were going to be a super team and, it wasn't really upheld. So I was a little bit. You're saying you were not?
My second question to you, I'm not surprised at all. My second question is you as a competitor, how do you feel about Ben Simmons?
As a competitor?
Yes, I know you're a competitor. You don't forget, we Villa Maria in here, and the Vikings is in the building. I need to know, as a competitor, young lady, how did you feel about Ben Simmons and him not showing up at all?
I feel like during the playoffs, it's not, you can't do that. You absolutely can't do that. That's the time when your team needs you the most, It doesn't matter what you do in the regular season. If you're not showing up when you need to show up, I don't think it matters. So that's what I'm going to say. I feel like if you're a star, you gotta be a star. You got to show up when you're supposed to be a star. So
yeah, but what happened though? At first he was saying, "Yeah, I'll be back. On Monday. Watch me." He's in the
colorful clothes.
Dunking. He's dunking and all of that.
I know.
I mean, and then all of a sudden he doesn't play. I mean, he really does have some serious mental issues to the point where I think that he's listening to the outside noise a lot. He listens to the outside noise, and that kind of hinders him because once again they lose the game and everybody's saying, well, I don't know why he's coming back to play on Monday if he couldn't play Saturday. Then all of a sudden he doesn't play. You know what I mean? So I don't understand that. That's something that he's going to have to dig in his inner self and come out with a fresh clean slate for next year. Hope he's all the way healthy. I mean, you didn't play at all. You didn't play at all this year, so you should be healthy. You should not still be injured, and you ain't played all year. You know what I mean? So, hopefully Ben Simmons get that together. Like I was saying before, I think he's still just mentally distraught because he really wanted to play in LA, but LA didn't have that first round overall pick. Philly ended up getting it before we did, and we ended up taking D'Angelo Russell, and
Interesting that you mentioned LA because Ben Simmons ain't the first person I see did that now. I've seen some other players supposed to show up in big moments and then they say they're going to, then I'm not playing. You know what? I'm out of here. I'm done with it. Like, I don't know how to feel about those players, man. As a competitor, you got to go all out. And I feel like, this day and age now, they do it a lot more than they did it 10 years ago, 15 years ago, which makes me question the heart and passion of are you really in it for what exactly? Do you want to win or you just want to make money?
They in it for the bag. We all know they are in it for the bag. So, Nina, I'm going to give you this last one in closing. Who's going to win this series between Phoenix and New Orleans with no Booker?
I feel like I think New Orleans.
New Orleans, you going with New Orleans? Fly, Pelican, fly, girl, Pelicans!
Ain't no sunshine when she's
But I
gone.
don't know. I feel like you guys don't agree.
Hey, I'm rooting for the Pelicans to knock Phoenix off. No Book. I mean, come on, man. That's just like me coaching the team and telling my team, I wish I would go out here and lose to these twos without D-Book out there. I wish I would go out there. We got all our boys, and they missing D-Book, and we lose this game. I would have my players so amped up to go out there and tear Phoenix apart. But, Phoenix is a deep team. They got some young studs. We have to figure out. One more before we get up out of here. Memphis and Minnesota. What's your take on that series and who's going to
win? I'm going to say Memphis and Minnesota. I think it's one of the better ones, definitely. And it's tough. I'm going to say that I think the Grizzlies are going to take it. Why the gas? You don't agree with me?
I'm so mad at Minnesota right now. I'm so mad at Minnesota. I'm going to tell you why. Because Anthony Edwards has played a phenomenal series.
He's
that
no
boy,
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man is doing his thing. I don't care if he's not John Morant. Them boys had Memphis on the ropes. And this is the second time that Minnesota has been up by double digits in the fourth quarter.
Until the most improved player improved during the course of the basketball game and won the game for them. Maybe he'll have to improve his game next year to become the most improved player after being the rookie of the year, similar to what John Morant has done this far.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think Memphis has all the pieces for sure. I feel like they can do it. They do have a lot of growing pains, not a lot of experience, but I think they could.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, with that being said, is our show for today. I'd like to thank my guy Jared Carr for chiming in. I'd like to thank my guy Kyrie Demos for tuning in. The Torch, the lovely Nina, for Ready Rob. Once again, I'm Mookie Hawkins. Everybody stay safe, always positive, and once again, man, wash them damn hands.
I'm so mad I couldn't find my notes.
Yeah,
taking me a minute.
Going over there.
It's taking me a minute to find these notes, man.
Golden State. Who cares about Golden State?
They winning.
Some hot boys right now. Sniper on the roof.
Yo, wait a minute. Talk about Anthony Edwards is phenomenal. I've been watching him.
Anthony Edwards is a dog.
He's definitely a dog. You need Karl Anthony Towns to be consistent every night. Yeah. I couldn't believe they gave up that 13-point lead.
We would have had hot boy, not boy segment.
I'm mad, man. I think Minnesota still can take it if they can keep a lead in the fourth quarter. Damn it, that's twice. This series could have been over. They could have put Memphis out the series. I'd have been dying laughing because everybody was on John Morant.
That's why I think Memphis can do it, is because they kind of threw the game a little bit. Not on purpose, but they had it and they lost it.
What you talking about, Minnesota?
What?
Minnesota had it.
Minnesota. I'm sorry. Yeah, I keep. Yeah,
no doubt, Jarek. We got you, buddy.
Yeah. So
yeah, man. Minnesota done dropped the ball twice.
They have a chance. It's a sign they have a chance.
Who? Memphis?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Memphis probably going to win the series now. You're right.
Yeah, Minnesota ain't winning that series.
I'm highly annoyed by that.
What's the series now? Is it 3-2?
3-2.
Yeah,
it's over.
That's what, and
it's back in Minnesota for Game 6. But when you have a team on the road, on the ropes, you have to finish. You got to finish.
That's
and they played another egg, man. That's twice in this series. I'm highly annoyed. I'm like, yo.
Especially they gave them all the momentum now.
They could have had these boys
going into that game.
They could have had these boys staying at home for Game 5. It should have been over in 5.
Yeah, it should have been.
Had they not blew 2 4-quarter leads.
What's up with Golden State?
They winning.
Yeah, I don't think.
And I'm gonna be honest with you.
You think it's a question?
No.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. This year,
you was looking like
this year will be best coach versus best coach. Best coach in the East versus best coach in the West. To me, Steve Kerr, being as deep as he is, best coach in the West right now.
I feel like that's going to be one of their problems, though, because I feel like he kind of put Jordan in the rotation. I feel like they're going to struggle a little bit with if he doesn't keep getting that time, or just because they are so deep and they have so many players. because I was on a team like that, it's kind of hard when people want to be the star. Everybody wants to be the star.
Right.
That could be an issue.
Basketballs go around.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Too much splash.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, too much splash.
Too much
splash.
Wait a minute.
Everybody wants to be the star.
I'm gonna be honest. I actually like the fact that Steve Kerr put him in. And
no, I
again,
like it too. I do. But I think
how good is Jordan Poole when you can say Steph Curry off the bench? Did you ever think you would hear that?
Not saying that way. That's not saying that way.
Oh, but
it's
here's
a strategic move.
It's a great strategic move.
And we know that he was going to be limited anyway, so you might as well bring him off the bench.
Hold on, time out. Steph Curry dropping 34 points in 23 minutes, limited. Okay,
right.
That's
well, we know what he can do. Period. But we know that he was going to play limited minutes. So why start
back? But wait a minute, if Steph Curry come back and start, I don't think that they lose anything by Steph Curry starting. Mm-hmm. I think, if anything, if I'm Jordan Poole, if I'm a player, I'm like, you know what? I had my time. I excelled. Now here's my role. And I started this joint. We got to finish this joint. So when I come off the bench, y'all know what time it is when I come off the bench. When Steph Curry need that rest now, y'all know what time it is. You know I could get buckets too. And I think that's going to help them propel themselves to that NBA Finals too, especially when Wiseman is hurt.
So you think Golden State going to?
Yes, absolutely. I think Golden State.
So who's the next matchup for Golden State? Memphis, right?
Memphis ain't got enough.
Yeah, they're
you
too
young. Memphis ain't got enough?
No, they're too young. They have the talent, but they don't have that experience in that situation to pull it off against Golden State.
I'm going with Memphis. Is this because y'all said y'all going with Golden State? I'm going with Memphis, man.
I can't go with Memphis. Memphis too young, and I think first of all, I don't think they coaching is good enough. I think Steve Kerr, that coaching, I'm telling you, championship caliber.
He got the experience,
multiple, right?
World champions.
I can't. Who you got? Phoenix with Booker being out.
The Heat too. When you young, the heat of being in it is tough too.
Yeah,
you don't got
This is their growing pain right now, though.
Yeah.
So if they get past this growing pain, they can get back to probably playing how they was playing the second half of the season without John Morant.